welcome back to another episode of Ryan Makes Sense, where we talk about personal finance, investing, and chart analysis. Today, I have an amazing stock to share with you. This stock has survived wars, it has survived terrorist attacks, it has survived bombings, it has survived, the great financial crisis. We have a pandemic. So many things. I'll talk about all those events that it has survived. This company has been around since 1986, at least. That's when the company went public. If you can guess the company, I'll let you try until we get there, and then I'll release it. And then also think of all the major events that have occurred that has impacted or could have impacted the stock market from 1986 to 2022. I will let you try and guess which events these were. I will go through the list of major events in the US that may have impacted the stock market. Just a fair warning, a lot of this is dark, going back to terrorist attacks, etc. So there are some dark things. There are some enlightening information as well. So I'll go through those events and we will then look at the company I'm talking about. We will then look at the company's 10-year return, and then we're going to look at the company's annual return, and then what we can deduce from all that information going forward. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so we're going to start from 1986 events all the way to today's current events, with the first event being, imagine having your IPO in 1986, and then 1 year later in 1987, Black Monday occurs, October 19th. That's when the stock market falls 20%, and that's when the circuit breakers were created, which we saw in 2020 during the global pandemic. So 1987, Black Monday, horrible year. That's, again, stocks fell 20%. I'm sorry, in the S&P 500. The next event is 1988, where we have George Bush being elected as president. Now you might be asking me, why do I have when presidents are elected? Well, if you're not familiar, back in 2016, we had a TV personality become the president of the United States. So going forward, I don't think there's any limit to who or what kind of president we can have with any experience. So just including for posterity. In 1989, there was a Friday the 13th mini crash because there was a failed buyout of United Airlines, which caused the crash. And then we go on to 1990, where we had an early 1990s recession. Iraq invaded Kuwait in August of 1990, causing oil to increase, and also the Dow Jones Industrial dropped as well. It fell 18% in 3 months from July to October. In 1992, Bill Clinton was elected as president. In 1993, there was the first World Trade Center bombing. That was the vehicle bombing that pulled up to the front of the building, and it essentially killed 6 people. In 1995, there was a federal building bombed in Oklahoma City. That was devastating. That killed 196 people. In 1996, the U.S. sent troops to Bosnia. In 1997, the embassy was bombed in Africa, which killed 213 people, including 12 Americans, unfortunately, for everybody. In 1999, the U.S. leads intervention in Kosovo, the country. They were having a war essentially with another foreign country. The U.S. stepped in. We're starting to see a pattern. 2000, we had the dot-com bubble crash in March, where we saw values fall significantly. If I remember correctly off the top of my head, Amazon fell 90%, 95%, but it obviously rebounded to where we are today. In 2000 as well, George W. Bush was elected president. And in 2001, we had the unfortunate 9/11 attacks where 2,595 people, including 343 firefighters and policemen, were killed at the World Trade Center. 175 people died at the Pentagon, and 265 passengers on that plane also perished, unfortunately. Very sad day. I remember that. In 2002, we had the aftermath of 9/11, where the stock market reached the lows of 1997 and 1998. That was in September of 2002. In 2003, the US officially invades Iraq. 2004, Bush was reelected. 2005, we had Hurricane Katrina, which displaced over 1 million people. Sad. 2007, the iPhone was introduced. Okay, there's a positive break in here. 2007, it was the start of the great financial crisis that led to the end of 2008. A lot of people lost everything, houses, retirement. Very unfortunate. 2008, the Lehman Brothers Bank declared bankruptcy. Also in 2008, Barack Obama was the first African American president, I believe. I mean, I know he was president, but I don't know if he is considered African American. In 2008, Barack Obama became the president of the United States. 2009, GM declared bankruptcy. 2010, the U.S. combat mission ends in Iraq. 2011, Osama bin Laden was killed by U.S. forces. Okay. Again, in 2011, there was a short-lived bear market that had a 21.58% decline that rebounded at the end of the year, which basically gave a flat return for the year of 2015. 2012, Hurricane Sandy happened, and it killed 192 people, sadly. In 2012, Barack Obama was reelected. 2013, we had the Boston Marathon bombing where 3 people died instantaneously and 264 people were injured and 16 people lost limbs. And later, during the exchange with the terrorists, a police officer was killed, unfortunately, sadly. 2015, the Supreme Court allowed same-sex marriage. In 2015 to 2016, the Dow Jones fell 588 points during a 2-day period, and then 1,300 points from August 18 to the 21st. And then on August 24th, the world markets were down substantially, wiping out all of the gains made in 2015. And this was interlinked with commodities such as oil, copper, and Asian currencies, and resulted in $10 trillion being wiped off the books for global markets. 2016, Donald Trump was elected president. 2018, we had a crypto crash where the S&P 500 dropped 34% from September to end of December. Dow Jones fell 18.7%, and Bitcoin fell 45%. 2018 as well, Trump leaves Iran nuclear accord. Same thing in 2018, Trump and Putin meet in Helsinki. 2019, we had the government shutdown, which lasted 35 days. And also later in 2019, we had the global pandemic starting. In 2020, we had the S&P 500 drop 34% from February to March, causing a worldwide recession from the pandemic. 2020, Biden was elected as president. 2021, we had the insurrection at the state capitol. 2022, we had the stock market decline where the S&P 500 fell 23.5% from January to June, and Bitcoin collapsed 59% during that same time as well. 2022 as well, we had Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade. And the last big thing in 2022 was that Congress concluded that Trump should be prosecuted. And that leads us to 2023. I feel like there have been some significant events, but if we're sticking to what we have here, the S&P 500 is up over 8% as of today, which is June 10th. Additionally, Donald Trump has been indicted and is facing over 100 years in prison. And I think that's kind of where we are from 1986 to today. So with all that, what stock do you think survived all that, has returned around 30% every year since then, and over the last 10 years has returned around 28%? I'll give you a second. We're going to jump over starting now. All right, if you had said Microsoft, you would be correct. Microsoft has done very well through all of those crazy events that I listed. Some were crazy, some were not, but I just wanted to get the point across that this stock has been through some stuff. It has seen some things. So um, let's just take a look at the data below. I can move my head. Shrink time. Okay. So they have $207.9 billion in sales, which is insane. They have $69 billion in income, also insane. They pay a 0.83% dividend. Remember that number. I'll show you why. Institutions have been buying right here. Gross margins are 68%. That is absurd. Absurd. Profit margins are highly profitable. Just insane. Insane. Even today. And if we look right here, the price earnings at 35, which is double what it should be in my opinion. But I mean, this company, I guess to put it lightly, is a juggernaut. I think that's a fair word, juggernaut. And its forward price earnings is a little bit less, meaning it's a little bit undervalued to today's standards. So it just means Microsoft is going to continue to grow. And speaking of guidance and growing, next year they're looking at 13.35%. However, that is for EPS. EPS over the past 5 years is double that. So you could say that they are underestimating to potentially protect themselves in case the event that they cannot meet their guidance. Strategy or what? Sales over the past 5 years is at 15.5%, which is great. It just goes to show that resiliency. They are resilient, you know. Over the past 5 years, we've seen the global pandemic, the insurrection, all like those things I listed off in the last 5 years. So you might be asking yourself, what is their 10-year return, Microsoft? Well, I'm on averageannualreturns.com, and we're just going to do a quick search for MSFT. Okay, and this highlighted portion right here, 27.39%. Remember that number with the dividend number. The dividend was 0.83. This is 27.39. Okay, we're just gonna plug this in right now so we don't forget. So dividend is 0.83. And annual share growth is 27.59. All right, just putting it there. Just wanted to drop it so we can move on to the next piece. All right, so now the next question is, okay, what is Microsoft's average ever since they were inception back in 1986? So I'm just going to grab this table over here. And this is a good website as well. It is macrotrends.net. So if you're trying to look at companies since inception, go to macrotrends.net and you'll figure it out. So I'm on a blank spreadsheet here. So annual percent change, I want to highlight this and get the average. It's showing me the sum. Now let's look at the average. What do you think the average is? I think it's around 30%. Average 31.78% since 1986. Wow. Insane. So with this information, you might be asking yourself, okay, what's your point? Like, why are you talking about this stock that has seen some things, been through some things? Get to the bottom line, dude. All right, so I have this dividend spreadsheet. It's more of a modeling investment spreadsheet. So if we look at Microsoft over the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, if I were to invest $6,500, and I'm just doing a Roth IRA example here, $6,500 a year, so starting this year, and then $6,500 every year going forward, what would that look like? Well, in 16 years, if Microsoft performs the way it has historically, In 16 years, I could be at $1.2 million, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. And with Roth IRAs, I'm under 50, if you wanted to know. So at 59, I can start taking distributions. And at 59, it looks like it's going to be at around $20 million. Not bad. Let's say I wanted to do this in a regular brokerage account because I want to put more than 6,500 in. Let's say I put in $15,000 this year, and I put in $15,000 each year going forward in a regular brokerage account. So any dividends that you receive are going to be taxable. Just remember that. So if I go this route, in 12 years, if Microsoft continues to perform the way it has performed historically, I could be at $1 million, which is awesome. $15,000 a year means I have to make, let's do 15,000 divided by 52 weeks divided by 40. I have to make $7 an hour. Okay. Let's say, we have 100,000 sitting in the bank. It's not doing anything. And we want to put it to work. And then you know what? We're going to add 15,000 every year going forward. Well, that brings us to getting 1 million in 9 years. Pretty cool. And then I'm just going to drop 250 here because some people have $250,000 laying around. So we can get to $1 million in 6 years. 6 years. So, and why is $1 million so important? When you get to that 7-figure level, there are some really good high-paying dividend stocks that you could roll this over to. And if you're making 8 to 10% on $1 million, that's $80,000 to around $100,000 a year. If you could then float yourself from your current age to 59 and be able to contribute your maximum amount to then have another income source at 59, I think you've cracked the code to living, my friend, my brother, my sister. So that's why that 7-figure number is relevant to me, because rolling that into a company like JEPQ, JEPQ, I'm on Finviz.com. So JEPQ pays a 9.21% dividend. And it pays you monthly. So if we have $1 million and times 0.0921, $92,000 a year divided by 12 months, that's $7,675 a year just coming to you. So that's why I like that 7-figure milestone. Just playing around with the numbers. If you want to see the spreadsheet, it is in some of my videos. If I remember, I'll put it in this video. If you do want the spreadsheet, just send a comment and I can drop it. So yeah, Microsoft. I think Microsoft should be a core. Well, it is a core for me. I'm not a financial advisor, so it is a core position for myself. I also do like Apple, Tesla, Palo Alto Networks, ServiceNow, Mercado Libre, and a couple more. So again, these are all really good 20 to 30% annual paying stocks returns, annual returns over the last 10 years. Do your own homework. I just wanted to share a stock with you guys that is basically a juggernaut. So if you like Microsoft, if you like this video and you made it this far, please consider subscribing. It really helps a lot. Hit that like button, and I hope you guys are doing well. I'll talk to you later. Bye.